Hi everyone, subject is physics, session 4. Today we are going to discuss about the applications of Newton's laws. That means the forces which acting on a system. First one is normal force. Normal force. When two surfaces are in contact, that means there is a force which is perpendicular to both the surfaces. Perpendicular to both the surfaces. It is like this. Suppose the body A is kept on another body B. Another body B, which may be a rough surface or may be a smooth surface, isn't it? It may be a rough surface or a smooth surface. So here the body which acts normally to the surface B. Normally to the surface B, that means it pointing downwards. This is known as action. And the B exerted the same amount of force on body B, body A, therefore in opposite direction. That means N dash. It is known as reaction. This is action. The action, that means a body exerted a force on the body B in downward direction. That means the same amount of equal to the weight of the body A is directed in upward direction. That is known as reaction, isn't it? So this is the case of normal force, because it is acting normally on the surface of B. It is normally on the surface of B. And the body B is also acting normally on the surface of A, isn't it? So therefore, and also one more example is inclined plane. Inclined plane also. So this is the inclined plane. It is also directing normally on the inclined plane, isn't it? And here also normally on the inclined plane, the body inclined plane is also acting the same amount of force as the body A. It is directed in upward direction. It is directed in upward direction. The body is directed in downward direction. That is action and reaction. This is the action and this is the reaction. Action and reaction equal and opposite direction, isn't it? So therefore, and another one is second one is tangential force. When the two surfaces are in contact, when the two surfaces of the bodies are in contact, there is a force that is a tangential tangentially on both the surfaces. Tangentially on both the surfaces. If tangentially on both the surfaces, that means, so if the surfaces should be, if the surfaces should be rough surface, always rough surface. If the surfaces of the two bodies are smooth, there is no frictional force. Tangential force is nothing but a frictional force which develops between the two bodies, isn't it? Between the two bodies. And so when the body slides over another body, when the body slides over another body, a frictional force is developed. That means, and it impedes their relative motion. Impedes their relative motion. Example. Fs, body A and body B. So here example, suppose a body A is kept on the body B, and the body A is moves on the body B. That means in the right direction. The body moves in right. And the frictional force or tangential force develops in opposite direction to the relative motion of the body, isn't it? So this is right direction. Suppose the body A which is moves on the rough surface of the B in right direction. Therefore, the frictional force or tangential force which is develops on opposite direction, that is in relative motion. So this is known as tangential force. So here the tangential force is directly proportional to the, or frictional force is directly proportional to the normal reaction. Yeah, isn't it? So therefore Fs, tangential force, Fs is directly proportional to mu n. That is normal reactional forces. N is known as the reactional forces. F is equal to Fs equals mu s n. Fs is equal to mu s n, where mu s n is the coefficient of frictional force. Coefficient of the frictional force. Mu s equals coefficient of frictional force, and N is the normal reaction. F is the tangential force. So here also, so this is known as the tangential force. So here also the inclined plane. So on inclined plane, suppose the body A which is slides over another body, that is inclined plane. Here the force of the body is towards downward direction, and here there is a frictional force. Fs is develops in opposite direction. This is the motion of the body in downward direction. The frictional force develops in opposite direction, and also here is the acceleration of the body towards downwards, isn't it? So this also one of the example for frictional forces. and here. So therefore, this is the frictional force. Another one is the tension forces. Tension force. Tension force, isn't it? Tension force is also when a object is pulled by a rope, the rope is replaced by the tension forces. That force that is develops along the length of the rope and which is away from the body, isn't it? Which is away from the body, like that. Suppose there is a body and body A is pulled by a rope, over a frictionless pulley, isn't it? So here there is a tension develops. Tension force means tension is developed, and this force it is away from the body. It is away from the body. It is away from the body. That means a body A is kept on another body B, and the body A which is pulled by a rope. This is known as ROP, rope which is pulled by a rope, that means or which is rolls over a frictionless pulley, that means due to the acceleration of the body C, that is the tension is developed on the body. This tension when it rolls over or passes over the pulley, that means it is away from the body. It is away from the body in this direction, and also it is away from the body in this direction, isn't it? So the roll of pulley only changes the direction of the force, isn't it? So this is the tension force. So here the tension force also develops on the inclined plane also. Here inclined plane also. So we can write like this, and here is a pulley. Suppose when a body passes over an inclined plane, passes over a pulley in an inclined plane, and therefore the tension develop on both the surface, on both sides of the rope. The tension develops on both sides of the rope of the pulley. That means the tension is away from the body. Here also the tension is away from the body, isn't it? The acceleration of the body is toward downward direction. So therefore the force, that means is nothing but force which is, here is the mass of the body. It is having some mass, it is directed in downward direction. So therefore the tension develops on both sides of the pulley in a inclined plane, isn't it? So this is the example for tension force. Tension force means when a body is pulled by a rope. Tension force means when a body is pulled by a rope, the rope is replaced by the tensional forces. The rope is replaced by the tensional forces, and also the force is along the length of the rope. And the tension is away from the body, which is away from the body. In both the cases you can observe here. Okay. And now we are going to explain about the weight. Weight of the body. Weight of the body. Here also, according to the law of gravitation, the body which is attracted towards the center of the center of the body, center of the earth, and the weight of the which is equal to the weight of the body, isn't it? Which is equal to the weight of the body. And suppose here is the body. A body is kept on another body B. Kept on another body B, isn't it? This is indicated by W. W is the weight of the body, isn't it? Suppose the earth is there. Earth is there. W dash. So normal reaction. So that means it is reaction, it is action. A body A which is kept on another body B. That means the force develops in the body. That is, the body is attracted towards the center of the earth. The same, that is known as action, and the same amount of force which is supplied by the earth towards in upward direction, that is known as W dash, that is known as reaction forces, isn't it? So this is example for weight of the body according to Newton's law of gravitation, isn't it? So I will tell you more about this weight of the body later on. So now we are going to explain gravitational force. And one more thing is gravitational force. Gravitational force. So according to the gravitation in the universe, any particle having a mass which is attracted towards the center of the earth, due to the gravitational force, isn't it? So according to Newton's law of universal law of gravitation, so here the force, universal law of gravitation, according to Newton's universal law of gravitation, the force between the two particles is directly proportional to the to the product of their masses, product of their masses, and inversely proportional to the inversely proportional to the square of the distance between the two particles. Isn't it? So this is known as universal Newton's law of universal gravitation, gravitational law, isn't it? Universal law of gravitation, Newton's universal law of gravitation. That means the force between the two particles is directly proportional to the product of their masses and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between them, or square of the distance between the two particles, isn't it? So here that can be mathematically represented as F is equal to minus G m1 m2 divided by r square, where F is the force acting between the two particles and G is the acceleration due to gravity. Not acceleration, gravitational constant. Gravitational constant m1 and m2 are the any two particles. It may be a earth or it may be the any two particles, means particles can be considered as earth and motion, earth and sun, and moon and sun, and also any other planets, isn't it? Or any other particles which are in earth, isn't it? So that may be a ball or maybe a chalk piece or it may be a whatever the particle that has masses, that means which is attracted towards the center of the earth equal to its weight, that is the distance between them is r square. The distance between them is r square. This is known as, here the negative sign shows that negative sign always attracted towards the center of the bodies, isn't it? That is always attraction. Negative sign indicates that always attracted towards each other, isn't it? Therefore, negative sign. And here r is the radius, distance between them. Distance between them. Two particles. So therefore G comes to be 6.67 into 10 power minus 11. The constant, universal gravitation constant, 10 power 7 Newton meter square per kg square, isn't it? So this is the universal gravitational constant, isn't it? And masses may be different, whatever the particle, it is also applicable. The gravitational force also applicable to the small particles which is on the earth, isn't it? Or any two particles. And another one is and also for this I can show the diagram. Here is M1, here is M2, and the distance between is R, isn't it? R. So here is mass of the particle is M1 and mass of the particle is M2, and their distance between is R. So according to this diagram, the equation can be written like this. Okay. And one more thing. acceleration due to gravity, and another thing is acceleration due to gravity. Sorry, weight of the body or acceleration due to gravity, whatever. So weight of the body or acceleration due to gravity, isn't it? So here suppose one body of mass m1, one body of mass m1 and having a radius r, and another body which is kept on first body m1, m2, isn't it? So their distance is r, therefore the force of attraction between the two particles, it may be earth, it may be a earth. Therefore the force of attraction between the two particles is F is equal to minus g m1 m2 divided by r square, isn't it? G m1 m2 divided by r square. So suppose according to the law of gravitation or according to the second law, Newton's second law. So when the bodies which are fall freely under the action of gravity and it has acceleration, that means the force which is act on the body, that means it produces acceleration. Suppose when a body falls freely due to the attraction of the another body m2, and here is this is m1, here is m2, which has certain height from the first body, Therefore, a body m2 is falling freely under the action of gravity. Therefore, it produces acceleration. According to Newton's second law. What is Newton's second law? That means the rate of change of momentum of a body is directly proportional to the impressed force. That means when a force applied on the body, it produces acceleration. So in the same way, due to some height of the body, so it is attracted towards the center of the earth by the body m1. Therefore, it produces acceleration. So therefore, we know that weight of the body is equal to its weight. We should not forget the point, equal to its weight. So therefore, W equals mg, isn't it? W is equal to mg. W is nothing but a force. Therefore, F equals mg. But F is equal to what? Minus g m1 m2 divided by r square. So F equals mg equals minus g m1 m2 divided by r square. So therefore here m1, here also m1. So m1g is equal to M1G is equal to minus G M1 M2 divided by R square. M1 gets cancelled. So therefore, what is the remaining here? G is equal to minus G M2 divided by R square. So we can neglect G because it is understood. It is the attraction towards the center of the. So therefore, G is equal to G M divided by R square. Isn't it? So therefore, here, so we can write G is equal to Gm by R square. This is known as the weight of the body, isn't it? So weight is equal to M1G or F is equal to M1G. So F can be substitute this equation. M1G is equal to G M2 by R square. G is equal to minus G M2 divided by R square. Generally, we can write G is equal to Gm by R square. So mass is where M is the mass of the another body. Mass of the another body. So this is these are the forces which are acting on the system. So here now we are going to explain free body diagrams. Forces like working with Newton's laws, free body diagrams. Working with Newton's laws, free body diagrams. So, what do you mean by free body diagram? Free body diagram. That means free body diagram is a diagram. Free body diagram is a diagram. Free body diagram is a diagram showing body by itself. Free of its surroundings. Free of its surroundings. Drawn to show vector representation. Drawn to show vector representation, magnitude and direction. Vector representation of magnitude and direction. all the forces of all the forces acting on the body. What is a free body diagram? Free body diagram is a diagram showing body by itself, free of its surroundings, drawn to show vector representation of magnitude and direction of all the forces that acting on the body. This is known as free body diagram, isn't it? Free body diagram. So example for free body diagrams. So here, so we can, so what is the free body diagram can also support some points. So here I will tell you the rules of free body diagram. So here, if a body is in equilibrium, that means it does not mean that no forces acting on the system, acting on the system, but simply the forces which is the resultant of number of forces acting on the system is zero, isn't it? So when the body is in equilibrium, it does not show that no forces acting on the system, but simply it can show that the resultant of forces that acting on the system is zero, isn't it? So, and another point is first point, and second point is the action and reaction of the forces always in pairs, isn't it? Action and reaction is equal and opposite direction, isn't it? Action and reaction is equal and opposite direction. So therefore, whenever the force acting on the body, the reaction always acts normal to the surface of the body, isn't it? Third one is, whenever the force acting on the body, which is always, that means the reaction always acts normal to the surface of the body, isn't it? So another thing is, so frictional force develops. Fourth point is, frictional force develops which relative to the motion of another body, isn't it? That means which is in opposite direction. This is the frictional force, and this is the velocity of the body in forward direction. The frictional force develops in opposite direction or in backward direction, isn't it? So, and another thing is, so fifth one, frictional force is given by the product of the, and this frictional force is given. Fifth point is, frictional force is the product of the coefficient of friction and the normal reaction, isn't it? So this is the fifth point. That is very important. So frictional force is the product of the coefficient of friction mu and a normal reaction n. And sixth one is, if a string is passing over a pulley. Sixth point is, if the string is passing over a pulley. String is passing over, suppose this is the string or rope passing over a pulley. The frictional force, the tension force develops by the bodies on the string. Therefore, this is away from the bodies. So here is a body and here is another body, isn't it? Which is away from the body. This is known as tension. This is known as tension. The role of tension on the pulley, which is changes the direction of the changes the direction of the motion of the body, isn't it? So therefore it develops away from the body. And another thing is, so we can give many examples for free body diagrams, isn't it? So these are the rules which we have to follow to explain the free body diagrams. So now I am going to rub this statement. So these examples are supporting the free body diagram. Now there are two bodies. Example for free body diagrams. Suppose there are two bodies which are kept on a rough surface or horizontal surface, body A and body B. And here is a mass M1, here is mass M2. And the force which is acting on the system, therefore it moves in right direction. Isn't it? So therefore, now here, according to free body diagram, so we can write like this. The two bodies can be drawn like this. Vector representations. The representation by a system, by a point. The representation of a point which is directed towards the vector directed representations. And so this point is a common point. This point is a common horizon for any body, isn't it? So from which the direction must be taken out, isn't it? And here is the normal reaction. The normal reaction develops along the y-axis, and here is the frictional forces or any other forces which develops along the x-axis, isn't it? So this is known as free body diagram. The mass is M1 or mass A, body or block, any block A. And this is in x-axis, this is x dash, y dash, x dash. So if the frictional force is developed in negative direction, the motion of the body will be in x direction, isn't it? And here also normal reaction. The weight of the body is in y direction. The normal reaction should be in upward direction, isn't it? And another body B, which we can also represent by the same rule. So this is the common point or horizon from which the direction can be taken out along x-axis or y-axis. or z axis. If they three dimensional, you can take three dimensional also. X, x dash, y, y dash. So here is weight of the power. So therefore, so now we can write the R F minus R because F is in forward direction and there is a reaction R, reaction of forces. Because when the force applied on the small body, the same amount of force which is applied on the body A by the body B, isn't it? So therefore F minus R is equal to mass M1 A. We can write like this because so when we look separately these two forces or two masses can be like this. M1, here also M2, isn't it? So therefore, so this is equation number 1 and R minus R equals M2 A. For body 2, body 1, so this is free body diagram for body 1 and this is free body diagram for body 2. We can call it simply FBD, free body diagram for figure 1 and free body diagram for figure 2, isn't it? So we can form the equation like this. F means this is reaction R, that means this is in forward direction. The amount of R reaction is in negative direction. That is equal to F is equal to ME. And according to Newton's second law, and R minus R. Here R is in forward direction, another R is in negative direction. Therefore R minus R equals M2A, isn't it? And one more thing, and also we can show when two bodies rolls over a pulley, the free body diagram can be shown like this. Free body diagrams can be shown like this. So here, suppose the two bodies or two blocks rolls over a pulley. Rolls over a pulley. So this is the heavier block and it has more masses compared to this, isn't it? So therefore, if the acceleration towards like this, towards downward direction, and this is the acceleration is in upward direction because due to the weight of the body it pulled up. That is this M2 is pulled by body M1, isn't it? The M2 is pulled by body M1 because due to heavier mass, it is a lesser mass, isn't it? So that's why we can consider here the free body diagrams, and here along x-axis and y-axis we should consider. Along x-axis and y-axis we should consider. So here along x-axis there is no force, isn't it? Only along y-axis is there. So therefore now we can free body diagram for this is the common origin. X-axis means here tension is there. Along y-axis only tension is there because the tension is away from the body. This is the body and tension is away from the body in both the cases, isn't it? The acceleration is in upward direction because for M1 mass M1 is in downward direction due to the heavier mass, isn't it? Heavier mass, and this is in y dash. This is in y and x dash, and there is no motion along the x-axis. Therefore, the total force Fx is equal to 0. Fx equals 0. Only Fy is there. Isn't it? Fy. What is Fy here? Fy equals Fy is equal to. So we can form the equation now. Fy is equal to now. M1 is in downward direction because this source from the point it is in downward direction. That means negative direction. Therefore, minus M1A equals T is in positive direction. Isn't it? T is in positive direction. Therefore, this is mg, weight of the body, and this is also weight of the body. And here is mg minus mg plus t, t is in positive direction, that is equal to m1a, isn't it? m1a or minus m1a. So now along the y direction, therefore t minus, so you can multiply minus sign on both sides. So therefore we can get T minus M1G minus T, that is equal to M1A. Isn't it? Equation number 1. Isn't it? So now another for equation M2 mass. So here the force also is in y direction only. The x direction is 0. This is for mass M1 and this is for mass M2. I will also show you. This is the common point. So here is T is there. Again, the motion is along y-axis and M2 G. Because acceleration due to gravity, m2g is there. Because weight of the body is pointing towards downward direction, and the motion of the body is in upward direction. So that's why this is x dash, y dash. So therefore, the force develops along the y direction. Y direction is T. T is in positive direction. Minus M2G. M2G equals M2A. M2A in upward direction. Equation number 2. So these are the equations. So in this way, we can form the free body diagram equations. And also I will show another equation. So suppose when a body, consider a body A is consider a body A is A and B. There are two bodies on horizontal rough surface which are pulled by a rope over a pulley. Over a pulley. So there are here three blocks, block A, block B and block C. Block B. So the two blocks are pulled by block C. Here. This is the horizontal surface on which the two blocks and block A is fixed with the block B and the block A is pulled by block B and both the blocks, block A and block B, both are pulled by block C, isn't it? Blocks. Therefore, in here the free body diagrams, according to free body diagrams, the tension is developed here and also tension is developed T2, T2, here is T1 tension. So suppose according to free body diagrams, we can write like this: block A. This is x-axis, negative x-axis, and this is y-axis, this is negative y-axis, isn't it? Suppose it is having mass m1, this is m2, isn't it? And here we can show the tension T1 like this, T1, and also the frictional force is Ff in negative direction. Isn't it? Another block here is there, B. X, negative x-axis, and here is positive y-axis, negative y-axis. So therefore, here it is having mass M2, the frictional force develops. Here the tensional force is there, T2. T2 is the tensional force, and also tensional force is nothing but tension force because it is a rope. The rope is fixed with the two bodies, therefore T2 is developed. And here also T2, sorry, here is T1, here is T2, isn't it? This is T2, and for free body diagram 3, we can show like this along the y-axis one, isn't it? Y dash, y dash, x dash is 0 because there is no force acting along the x-axis, therefore only the force is acting along only y-axis here. So therefore this is the common point C. It is having a mass M3 also. Therefore the weight is towards downward direction. Therefore M3G, isn't it? M3G. So these are the examples for free body diagrams, isn't it? So now in another cases we can form the equations also in further chapters, and also now we are going to explain the frictional forces. We are going to explain the frictional forces. Force of friction. Force of friction. So force of friction means a friction is a one kind of force which opposes the relative motion. Which opposes the relative motion. Already I told you about the relative motion, isn't it? This is the force, and which develops it opposes the relative motion of the other body. And here Fs is directly proportional to N, reaction forces, because reaction is there. And this is the weight of the body. W. Here is W. So W is equal to N, or N is equal to W. F equals Fs, isn't it? Fs equals N, because Fs frictional force is equal to mu s N. Mu s N. So this is the definition of frictional force. Frictional force is a kind of force which opposes relative motion, which opposes the relative motion between the two surfaces in contact. So frictional force of two types: rolling friction and also sliding friction. Rolling friction, also a sliding friction. So here limiting of friction. Limiting friction means the maximum value of the static friction. The maximum value of the static friction that comes into play when the body just rolls or slides over another surface of the body. So static friction means static friction, because frictional force has two kinds. One is rolling friction, and another one is sliding friction. Frictional force has two kinds. Rolling friction, sliding friction. Rolling friction and sliding friction. Here, rolling friction or static friction, that means limiting friction is nothing but a limiting friction. The maximum value of the static friction that comes into play. The maximum value of the static friction that comes into play. Maximum value of the maximum value of the static friction that comes into play when the body just slides over, slides over another body. This is known as limiting friction. This is known as limiting friction, and it can also shown by, it is denoted by Fs. Already I have shown you. Fs. It is denoted by Fs, isn't it? And the coefficient of limiting friction, that means maximum static friction. The maximum value of the static friction is given by the coefficient of static friction. Coefficient of static, coefficient of static friction means Fs is directly proportional to N, or Fs is directly, that is equal to mu s N. This is known as coefficient of static friction is equal to mu s is equal to Fs divided by N. So this is known as the coefficient of static friction, isn't it? And then what is N here? N is the normal reaction of the body, isn't it? So coefficient of kinetic friction or sliding friction, kinetic friction or sliding friction, it is the ratio of the kinetic friction Fk to the normal reaction. It is also the same thing. It is also the same thing, isn't it? So we can so what do you mean by kinetic friction? Kinetic friction or dynamic friction or rolling friction, both these are same words. So Fk is equal to mu k divided by N. The kinetic friction means it is the ratio of the coefficient of kinetic friction to the normal reaction of the body. So this is known as the kinetic friction, isn't it? Kinetic friction. And another thing is angle of friction. Angle of friction. Angle of friction. Suppose here there is a body A which is kept on another body B. And this is the common point of the body or horizon of the point, and therefore here when body rolls over another body, that means Fs is taken place. This is Fs, and here is having mass m1 or maybe m, isn't it? And therefore the normal reaction, this is the weight of the body and this is N, normal reaction. But tan theta is equal to, tan theta equals theta develops and this point is, we can call it as C. Therefore, here the base, along the base there is a friction. Along the base there is a friction, and along the perpendicular there is a normal range. Therefore, tan theta is equal to tan theta equals tan theta is equal to mu s. Tan theta is equal to mu s. Mu s is equal. Because n is equal to mg sin theta is there. Because n is equal to mg. N is equal to mg. Where w is equal to mg and n is equal to mg sin theta. Force is equal to Fs. Fs is equal to force. Fs is equal to mu s divided by n. Because mu s divided by mg sin theta. Is it? Mg sin theta. Mg sin theta. Isn't it? So this is the angle of friction. Angle of friction is equal to sin theta is equal to mu s. Isn't it? Or tan theta is equal to Fs divided by n. Tan theta is equal to perpendicular. What is perpendicular? Fs divided by n. So Fs is equal to mu s into mu s. Fs is equal to mu s n divided by n. Another thing. So tan theta is equal to mu s. And in another form we can show like this. Isn't it? Because tan theta equals adjacent by opposite side by hypotenuse. Opposite side by adjacent. Opposite side by adjacent or perpendicular by base. Isn't it? So this is sin theta and this is cos theta. Tan theta is equal to mu s. This is known as the angle of friction. And one more thing, motion of a body along a rough horizontal surface. Motion of a body along a rough horizontal surface. So here also the same thing. Motion of the body along the rough horizontal surface. Rough horizontal surface. Suppose body A, and so here the body which is moves in opposite direction, body F, and this is force Fs, isn't it? And normal reaction W, normal reaction is N. And motion is A. Therefore, here is M, mass of the body. Therefore, retardation takes place. Retardation or acceleration is equal to F by M. F by M, isn't it? And therefore, here force is equal to force on the body equals Fs. But Fs is equal to mu s divided by n, isn't it? So therefore, mu s divided by Fs is equal to mu s divided by n, where n is equal to mg sin theta, isn't it? Or mu g. Retardation F by m, F is equal to mu s is equal to mu s, isn't it? So therefore, mu into mg, F by m is equal to mu mg divided by m. Because mu mg divided by m. A is equal to F equals mu mg divided by m. Isn't it? Because where m is the mass of the block and a is the acceleration of the block and F is the force which acting in forward direction and mg, isn't it? Mu is the coefficient of friction, isn't it? So, and another thing is, so therefore the work done against the friction is F into S. W is equal to F into S. The work done against the friction W is equal to work. Work is equal to F into S equals F means the force. F is equal to Fs is equal to F is equal to F into S. Fs equals Fs is equal to mu mg into S. Mu mg. F is equal to mu mg into S. And therefore, the motion of a body along a rough inclined plane. The motion of a body along a rough inclined plane. And we have known that inclined plane. Angle of friction is also discussed. I have discussed. And here, inclined plane. Motion of the body along the rough incline. So this is an inclined plane on which the body A is moving, isn't it? This is the common point of the body A, and this is the inclined plane B. So here the body which acts, so the force here, the force is resolved into two components. mg, here this is the force is acting in downward direction, mg sin theta, and here is mg cos theta, isn't it? So here is the theta, mg is acting in downward direction, mg is resolved into two components. Why? The body which is slides on a inclined plane in rough surface. Isn't it? So here is theta. And the frictional force develops in opposite direction. Isn't it? Frictional force develops in opposite direction. So therefore, now we have known that the force of friction is equal to Fs is equal to mu s divided by n. Isn't it? N. Here is n is there. What is n is here? N is equal to mg cos theta. Mg cos theta, and F is equal to F equals Fs is equal to mg sin theta. Isn't it? mg sin theta. So therefore mu s is equal to, so F is equal to the total force, F is equal to mg sin theta minus the total force, F is equal to mg sin theta minus F. Isn't it? F means this. So F equals mg sin theta minus F is equal to Fs equals mu n, sorry, mu n, so mu s n. Smaller. So Fs equals mu s n, isn't it? So n is equal to mg cos theta. F equals mg sin theta minus mu z is equal to mu s is equal to mu s into mg cos theta. Mg cos theta. So here mg we can take out common, and sin theta minus mu s cos theta. Isn't it? So this is the force, total force which acting on the system. Why? The body moves in downward direction. Isn't it? So let us stop here. Tomorrow we will continue in the next class.